Hey guys, Kev here, and I got two Migurons to talk about. So let's talk about this budget model first. This is the Miguron Tagog, T-A-K-O-G. Here's the box. Thought it was the tack at first, but it just cut off. Tagog. Miguron knives. This guy is on Amazon right now, at least when I'm filming this on April 7th. For $39. This is $39 in 14C, 28N, and G10 with a budget clip. So this does not have a titanium clip like the Migurons, but it's also like 10 or 15 bucks cheaper, so I get it. Now, I just got these, so, overview here, not a full review or anything. This is a absolute pry bar. I mean, it's a tank. Look at this thing. I mean, it's a chunky boy. I did some measurements earlier. This is 0.58 thick. So almost 0.6 inches thick. The stock is absolutely stout. We're looking at 0.4. Let's see. No way. 0.137. There's no way. Look at that. I mean, that is thick. Let me just grab something. Like the stout, I know is 0.1. I thought it was 0.14, but this is saying 0.14, and it looks thicker to me, but well, maybe it just looks thick. I don't know. You saw the measurement there. Here is the Evo. This guy has thick, chunky stock. And it is thicker. Okay. All right. So maybe this is 0.14. Might be. It just looks thick as shit. 39 bucks though. I mean, you got a nice stonewash down here. And then, you got like horizontal satin up here. Now, obviously, this is not a lefty-friendly knife in the sense that you have a stud on one side and no reversible clip. But it is lefty-friendly in the sense that it's a liner lock and that one stud lets you reverse flick it like a beast, If you're okay not having the other stud, then I think this is great, right? You have a top Mohawk style flipper right here, wachang. And it works really well. I mean, you can even front flip it. You got to give it some gas. You can't really just pop it because of the way it rolls over. But if you just give it a little bit, it flops over really good or pops. And this top flip, I mean, you can hear it. It bangs. Feels really good, honestly. The action, Miguron style, dropping to the nail, quick shake shut, really, really nice. We are dead centered on this guy. Again, just looks like a pry bar in there. I measured the behind the edge. It's not stupid thick. It's around 20 to 22 thousandths. It is a shallow hollow grind here, so that's how they achieve that. It's a thick boy, like I said, so ergonomically, very, very chunky in the hand, but, you get a good, healthy grip. You can choke up onto this flat. I know some of you guys are weird and you'll only hold it back here, which is fine. Clip is a bit of a hot spot. I mean, it's not like a hot spot. It's like the whole thing. You just feel it in your palm. You know what I mean? So there's that. Stud works pretty well. I mean, you got a sort of domed aspect to it. A very light or a shallow dome. And then you have these little ridges. It doesn't look like it would catch your finger well, but it does. It catches your finger pretty well. You can reach around on this guy and get it that way. The edge is very sharp, 14C, 28N. Not the biggest fan of a belly up to the tip, but hey, it works. It's more of a straight back design, right? Yeah, it's kind of got that Migurons build, but it's thicker. It's definitely a chunkier. This would be a really good sort of fidget work knife, If you needed a bruiser that wasn't too big and you wanted to fidget with your knife, I think this would do both. And it's $40. I mean, seriously try to beat Miguron's quality to price point. It is very hard to do. I did ask Miguron to send me a couple things because I was thinking about talking to them about doing some OEM stuff. So you know, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the price point to quality on their budget stuff is crazy. That's the Tagog. Then we have the Karaki 2. So this guy is $189, $190 on Amazon right now. I will link those down below. Hopefully they'll still be in stock. I mean, I don't know. Once people find out about these, they might go quick. But $189, you get M390, and you get this really nicely knurled blue anodized titanium. You can also get it in a bronze finished titanium. Now, the one downside here, the weird thing to me is that they're calling this a 2. I guess they're just saying that because it's an update, but this is M390 instead of S90V, which it was on the first run, which I really liked. And when I talked to Miguron, they basically said, we don't like working with S90V. It's very hard to machine. But that's why it's such a good steel, in my opinion. That's why I want the steel, because it's hard to machine because the wear resistance is really good, which means edge retention is going to be really good, right? And that's kind of what I want. Is M390 fine? Yeah, sure. But if you give me M390 at 6061 and you give me S90V at 6061, I think I'm going to like that S90V all day. But, you know, I'm not a heat treat expert or anything. I'm mostly just spewing shit I've heard. So, hey, take what I say with a grain of salt. I really like this clip. I don't know if that's redesigned. It's got a very thin nature to it, so you can see I can flex it easy, but it has good retention. I love that knurling. Like I said, it is a frame lock. It doesn't have the best detent in the world. I wish it was stronger. I've gotten used to it. It's not like weak, but I want to be able to ride this flipper tab and then have it pop and lock. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to give it that extra like push to get it to pop. I want it to pop and then fly out and lock up. I have to kind of give it that pop, if that makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean the detent's bad by any means. It's nice and crisp and snappy. So I think it's just a matter of getting used to the design. You can see the action. I got it tuned here. I put a little bit of KPL heavy on the detent ball, and then I worked that in, and then I just used super glue to Loctite this pivot. I have it with no blade play, swings down, smooth shake. I mean, really hard to ask for more. Pretty much out of the box. I took these out of the box like 10 minutes ago. It was a little tight at first, then the pivot started walking, then it was a little loose, but it had play. So I just kind of dialed that in with some glue, and we are absolutely perfect at this point. One thing I don't like is these screws are sticking up out of the scale. If you see that. Not the biggest fan of that. I wish they were flush. But, I mean, $189, guys. I can't remember what the original one cost, but S90V and the plain tie, I think I liked better. To be honest. I don't know if the size was the same, but I think it was, if I recall correctly. Nice crown spine. This one is really thin, sharp as hell. This is going to be a really good EDC. I just think it's a real clean design. And even though it's not the most lefty-friendly looking design, it works really well because you have a front flipper. So you don't need to worry about the lock bar as a lefty. Honestly, you worry about it less than you do as a righty. You just don't have a clip to grab onto. When I front flip this, I'm kind of grabbing onto the clip to get leverage. Luckily, it's not that big of a deal. I can just grab the scale and pop it like that. If you happen to be at 7-Eleven on a Friday night, which for me tonight is Friday, I might be. If somebody comes at me for my Slurpee, this right here is a very good reverse grip knife. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because it's very neutral, but my finger lands right here perfectly. Kind of got a little bit of a guard down there. Thumb lands right here really well. So, I mean, I could seriously fuck some shit up if somebody wanted my Slurpee. The other sort of grip would be this, and that's okay. That's not bad. You know, your normal actually cut stuff grip that everybody's going to use is good. The ergos are solid on this. Feels really good. That clip is very minimal. Not a hot spot at all. I think I mentioned on this one that the clip is a pretty big hot spot for me. In terms of Friday night on this one, you're good to go too. I mean, you got a nice little rounded butt right here, a little bit of a guard down there. Yeah, so don't fuck with Miguron at 7-Eleven, guys. You're going to be wishing you hadn't. So, yeah, I think these are really cool. All T8 construction on the screws. I think this one's actually a T6. Let's check that. Make sure that puppy's tight too. Yep, nice and tight. The other ones are T8. I did check those already. Pivot is T8. Love that little pivot collar. It seems to be something they do as a pivot collar on just the lock side, which is interesting. And as you can see, centering is dead on, dead nuts on both of these, which is, you know, important. And fit and finish is really good. You know, Miguron is impressive. They seem to be doing really good stuff at really quality prices because they're making their own knives. The question is, how are they doing with inlays? Because that was the struggle they had early on. From everything I handled, the ones with inlays had issues with the inlays staying in, being flush, all that kind of stuff. So would love to see some of their inlay models. It seems like they're doing a lot of just full tie, which is cool. You know, the milling looks good, and you should work to your strengths, and that's what they're doing. So I think that's cool. I do think I'd prefer the S90 with, I believe it was like a machine satin or a stonewash. It wasn't a bead blast, but I could be wrong. Not a fan of bead blast because I will rust this pretty quickly, even with M390. But all in all, this knife is amazing. I mean, 190 bucks. Miguron is absolutely killing it. And then 40 bucks, come on. I would still go and bump up that 10 or 15 bucks and get the Migurons, just because of the being a little bit thinner, having the hole for deployment. I mean, that knife is literally the best budget knife in a long time. So let me know what you guys think down below. A couple of Migurons here. Shout out to Miguron. Thank you for sending these my way. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Check them links down below if you want to pick these up. Hopefully they're down there in stock at Amazon. I'll link the other stuff they have as well. They have some cool models. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you later.